Everything starts before a woman cheats. Well, what if I told you something? A woman's betrayal, of course, does not happen in an instant. It is not a scene of packing a suitcase and walking out the door. Betrayal is like a lake, slowly freezing over, silent, imperceptible, but advancing with cold persistence. Before women commit betrayal, they themselves carefully lay the stones along that path. Like children lost in a forest, they leave small traces and breadcrumbs behind them. An eye that can see those crumbs reaches the truth. But most men cannot see those crumbs, because they have either gone blind, or are too deeply in love, or deceive themselves with hope. And I will now tell you about those crumbs. Perhaps your eyes will open before your heart breaks. Perhaps you will realize before you fall into that emotional abyss again. But I warn you, what you will learn will disturb you, because these are the darkest but most honest aspects of female psychology. A woman's love never ends, it just retreats. The soul quietly begins to pack its bags. The warmth that once shone in your eyes now turns into cold glass. Conversations grow shorter. Laughter turns into lifeless sounds like yes and uh-huh. The woman who used to listen to you now listens to her phone. This is not fatigue. This is an inner rupture. A woman decides with her heart. If her heart now beats elsewhere, even if her body is still by your side, you are already alone. And one day you realize you are living with a ghost wandering around the house. You hear their voice, but you cannot feel their spirit. Psychology says emotional withdrawal is a displacement of mental investment. They have now attached themselves to another emotional source, and you, without realizing it, have become a stranger. Then time becomes blurred. The rhythm of the days is disrupted. Meetings drag on, workdays take on a mysterious air. We had coffee with the girls becomes a common phrase, but the details fade. You ask, how was your day, and get the reply, it was fine, nothing to tell. Loyalty is transparent. Betrayal darkens time. When people lie, they manipulate time, not the story. Minutes disappear. Hours remain unexplained. My phone battery died. I took some time to clear my head. I didn't realize how time passed. They are all masks for emotional distance, and you lose another trace with every sentence you believe. Then privacy changes. The phone that used to lie open on the table now faces down. Password protected, locked, secure. When you approach, it is reflexively grabbed as if it contained nuclear codes. Most men get angry at this point, but anger doesn't reveal the truth. It casts shadows. When a woman forms an emotional bond with someone else, she develops a reflex to protect that bond. Physical betrayal has not yet begun. But emotional infidelity has already started. Innocent messages, secret smiles, silent sharing, all are hidden inside that phone. Psychologically, this is the shield of guilt. The woman hides the feelings she cannot face behind secrecy. And then comes gaslighting, the art of twisting the truth. Her weapon is not physical, it is mental. She blames you, twists the truth, makes you doubt yourself. You're paranoid. You're damaging the relationship. Don't talk to me like that. Now you are the guilty one. But don't forget the truth. Gaslighting is projecting guilt onto the other person. When you feel something, they mock that feeling. When you ask questions, they say, "Are you starting again?" Over time, you stop trusting your own instincts. And at that moment, you fall into the deepest pit of betrayal. You begin to doubt yourself. At this point, the person loses not only their lover, but also their own reality. reality. Then the mask of guilt appears. The woman who was acting cold suddenly becomes warm. Messages, gifts, I love yous. But not from the heart, from the conscience. Guilt produces false kindness to lighten its own weight. This is not love. It is an attempt to forgive oneself. If I behave well enough, I am not a bad person, he says to himself. But that kindness is not directed at you. It is directed at his own peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius said, to approach the truth, one must first walk through the fog. This period of excessive kindness is actually the calm before the storm. And finally, the final curtain falls. He never says I cheated. Instead, he wears you down so much that you end the relationship. Arguments increase, accusations multiply, misunderstandings grow. He makes you the bad guy. Because when you break up, he wants to be able to say, I tried, but she didn't want to. This is a classic defense, projection. He reflects his own guilt onto you. But the wise know, the one who wants to leave has already gone. Only their body remains behind. So, don't beg, don't cry, don't belittle yourself. A real man tries not to stop the departure, but to preserve his honor. Silence speaks louder than words. Well, why can't men see these signs? Because the heart overrides reason, because love sometimes carries the same tone as denial, because most men are raised to trust, not doubt. But blind trust is not healthy trust. True trust is supported by observation. The phrase, he wouldn't do that, is the most dangerous deception. Deception doesn't come with a devilish face. It comes with a smiling face. A gentle mask. That's why you can't tell. But noticing isn't accusing. Observing is not paranoia. It is wisdom. It is easy to be jealous, but understanding requires patience. A wise man does not react. Reactions are emotional reflexes. Observation is the work of the mind. Trying to hold on to something that's truly over is self-destructive. Sometimes the greatest strength is to leave in silence, not with words, but with your stance. Remember, deception doesn't diminish your value, it reveals his character. Your job is not to change him, but to protect yourself. Truth hurts, but ignorance destroys. Learn without breaking. Realize without being crushed. And one day, when a woman walks away from you, listen to your own heart first, because the heart always knows first. If this topic has sparked your interest even a little, subscribe to my channel, like it, and don't forget to comment, because a person who dares to hear the truth has already achieved half the battle.